Hi, and welcome to Writing with Sandhya. I'm very excited to bring Sundari Venkatraman to this platform. Ever since I read about her profile, I've been looking forward to talking to her. So I'm so happy that she came here, and then we are going to chat for a little bit. She started when she's 40, but is a very prolific writer, has many books to her credit. There's a lot of questions that I have for her, so let's go ahead and get started. So welcome, Sundari, to the Writing with Sandhya channel.
Hi, Sandhya. Nice to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was interested because, there are a lot of some things I saw in common and some things, of course, are different. One is I also have started to very late actually publishing and printing my books. So what do you feel that did a later start help or hinder you for your writing?
I see. According to me, what is done till yesterday, it's already gone. Like sense in thinking about it. I don't think too much about the past. So from the day I started writing, I was happy I could write. And like I should have done this earlier or anything. There were some times when I thought, maybe I would have done a BA literature instead of BCom, which is what I did if I had been a writer earlier. But then again, I realized you need a lot of logic when you write a story. So, that helps a lot. That's especially my beta readers, they keep telling me that you can't beat the logic. Otherwise, you kind of tend to keep writing a story. You're not always very sure that the logic is in place. So there the become background helps. So I think every step of my life has brought me here to where I am today.
Yeah, I'm a BA literature, but I can tell you like that again didn't really either help or hinder very much. I think it's a lot of what you draw from your background and experiences, and you can bring all of that to your writing, right? Yes. So when did you actually start writing?
I was between 39 and 40. It was like I had left my job. I used to work in my children's school. My daughter had come to the 10th, and I don't know why I thought I'll be of help to her being at home. I was more of a hindrance than a help. And I was totally bored and I should say frustrated because I was loving my job there. And I quit. I had been working for 3 years. There, I was in the admin. I was working in a school in the admin department, and I went for a long walk. I always used to read, especially my generation. There was no TV when I was till I think I almost finished college, and so the main source of entertainment was reading, and I used to go long walks and all that. One fine day, out of sheer frustration, I started writing. And that's how I began writing my first book, The Malhotra Bride. And that's how writing was born in my life.
That's great, yeah. And what you said is so relatable. I know a lot of friends who, kind of take a break thinking that they can help their children. And as you said, then they're like totally bored or realize that, there's only so much that they can help and wish, they hadn't. But then sometimes it's too late to go back, but sometimes it's an impetus to start something new as you have done. So yeah, I think one can have a whole discussion just around that itself. Yeah. And the other interesting thing, this is the month, of February, Romance Month on Writing with India Channel, Writing with
Once
Sandhya
again,
channel.
that is, yes. Just give me a minute. The internet connection, there's some issue. I'll just connect it to my phone internet.
Okay.
Yeah, your voice is coming through clearly. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's fine. Yeah, these things keep happening, I think, in Zoom. So this is February Romance Month on the Writing with Sandhya channel, and that is why I invited you this month because you write in romance. So, and that is also highly interesting. So how did you decide on the genre of romance to write on that genre?
I don't think I decided. Romance decided to write through me. See, I have always read many different genres. I'm a little less adventurous nowadays, but I used to read any damn thing which came in front of me. And the thing is, I realized I always enjoyed reading romance more. Like when I was 13 when I started reading Wilson Moon, and then later on it was Barbara Cartland and Georgette Heyer and historical and all that. So like I've always been hooked till date, and I read romance. So automatically that was the genre I chose to write in. I love writing romance. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. I think you write on something that you really love, you enjoy. I think then it flows more naturally. Yes.
Yeah. And I always felt, there was this thing like in those days, like until past, I think 10 or 12 years back when Wilson Moon was introduced to Indian writers. I mean, the Indian writers began to write in nursing. After that, they shut shop in barely a decade. But the stories are all set in the West. Yes. And I always wonder, if these stories happened in India, what will happen? Because West is always about the girl and the boy. Very the family butts in. Whereas here it's all about the family, right? Because I was wondering, that was one thing which seemed to be missing in the romances which I was reading. And so automatically I started writing about the Indian romance I started writing was involving the whole family, which is what I wanted to see in romances.
Yes. And I think, so that will be realistic. And I guess that's how it happens over here. Yeah. Talking about family, just looking at your persona, I think you come across as a very traditional, kind of a South Indian person. And so am I. I'm also, Tamilian. So how did your family and friends react to your books? I was curious to know.
My family is always like, they have been the sounding board right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I would say with my mother, my father, my sister's mother-in-law, they've all books. In the beginning, before I was published, I used to carry this printout all over, whenever I travel and all that. And they've all, and they have been very happy, very encouraging, and they didn't seem to think it was odd, me writing romance or anything. At the end of the day, I think, the book leaves a smile on the reader's face when they come to the end of it, and that probably made them very encouraging. And in my house, my daughter reads my book. My husband doesn't read books at all. He reads only the newspapers. And so, nor does my son read romance. But my daughter reads my books and she loves it. And I have a nephew who has read my books. And so family and friends, I have a few who read my books. They love it. I have a few who don't read at all. So it works. But I have not had a discouraging word either from my friends or family. Yes, a lot of strangers or neighbors, they come and tell me, why romance, why not something else? I kind of ignore them and move on.
Yes, yeah. No, it's lovely that, so many people support you and, read your books. And of course, by now you have your own audience and readership, and they're looking forward to your books, I'm sure. Yes. So you have written about, I think, 57 books by now?
That's right. 57 published.
That's like simply amazing. When I read that fact, I was like, that's fantastic. And for anybody from any age to any age, I think, in this span of time, which is relatively short, because writing books, really takes a lot. I think that's...
I would like to mention here, I started writing at 39. I stopped writing when I was 40, 41. Because there were no takers. I was trying to look for publishers and all that. When there were no takers, I just lost interest in it. Then my son finished his 10th standard. I happened to get a job at Mumbai Mirror. I worked there for a couple of years. Then I was working with Network 18, Web 18, with a couple of websites there. And so, life continued. I stopped writing. But at some point, I lost interest in my job. My stories were pushing to be told. So I then started writing again. So there was a major gap at that point.
Okay.
When I first published with Amazon, self-published with Amazon, that was when, when I saw that people were reading, that by then I had only 3 novels and 1 short story collection. After that only I found interest. Then I started writing. I think from middle of 2016 till now is when I have written the rest of my books. Wow. I had only 4 novels and 1 collection of short stories in all.
So like in a year, how many books do you write then? So that's
about 8 books.
8 books.
One particular year, the 13 months, I had written and published 13 books. Like I had to do 1 book a month.
One book a month.
They were not full-length novels. They were books which were about 25,000, 30,000, 40. But there were also books which were about 60, 66,000 words. So all sizes.
Yeah. So novellas as well as full-fledged novels.
Yeah.
But how are you so prolific? So for me, it's a reverse. For in 16 years, I've written one book. So that's right, the opposite. But tell me, I mean, I think a lot of, especially those who are writers, right, would love to, and who are trying to juggle various things and still write. Do you have like any time management tips or any tips on, how to write so in such a prolific manner?
One thing I would say is reading. Reading
Mm.
really sets my imagination. Like I hear many people telling me, like, I don't read, but I have a story in me. I would like to write it. I don't want to sound discouraging, but I don't understand the concept, frankly. Like मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है how such a thing is possible. But I feel reading helps a lot in growing one's imagination, for one thing. And of course, being a dreamer, I'm a dreamer. Like all the time, I live in my own world. And going for a walk without your phone helps. When you're completely with yourself, that helps a lot. And write every day. I really try to write every day. Of course, it's not possible to write all 365 days, but I tried. Because what happens, I realize is, when I take a break of 1 week or 10 days without writing, it's very difficult to pick it up again. I keep writing. What happens is, like when I start, like I have missed out on 10 days. Then on the 11th day, I probably am able to write only 200 to 500 words. Then let's say 1,000 words. Then the story starts flowing. Because, your characters, you're just, for me, it's like I'm watching a movie in my head. Yeah. I'm just penning the scenes. I allow my characters to do whatever they want, the conversation they want to have, how they will react in real circumstances. What will they do? So I just let them go and I just follow them and I keep writing. Yeah. That's how it works. I don't know if it will help anybody, but that's how it works for me.
So it's like kind of you're saying maintain the flow. So can you tell us a little bit about what your writing routine or regime is like? Like how many hours, there a particular place you sit, how many words a day? Anything you can share?
See, I have a table which moves around the house.
Okay.
There was a point, like especially during the lockdown and all that, my grown-up children, we were all living together in one house. It felt as though there was no space. My maid was not coming, my cook was not coming, so we had to kind of all of us pitch in and all that. It was difficult to put everything together. Those times, despite everybody being in the house, like my daughter runs her own business, my son was working from home, and they have this Zoom calls and all that. There's only you can do in the 4 rooms. What I have realized is, that there are times when both of them are not there. My husband, he's like, you're sitting in the other room all the time, and he's retired. So he's sitting and watching TV. So what I have got into this habit of, the TV is on and 2 people are having conversation. If I want to write, I'll write. Yeah. It's not, I don't get distracted. And I don't feel this nerd, like, my daughter tells me, why don't you go to a coffee shop and sit there? You will enjoy it more. I don't feel, because when I go to a coffee shop, I don't want to look at my laptop. I want to look at the people there. Yeah. I want to talk. I want to look out of the window and enjoy my coffee. I realize I get highly distracted. But when I'm in front of my laptop, I forget the world around me. Keep writing. I don't need, there is a doorbell. I just go, get up, open the door. I attend whatever. I just come back and I continue with my sentence. I don't get easily distracted. Yeah.
So, and also you talked about your characters having a flow. So do you believe in having an outline, or you just start with characters, a premise, and just let it go?
I kind of see, each story comes by its own way. And like today, I'm writing my book number 58. But already, there are many characters calling out to me. Okay. I'm introduced in my earlier stories, some of out of the blue. I find them like, as I say, when I try to sleep, I get up at least 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night. That's because of my bladder. But what happens is now going back to sleep, it's not that I don't get sleep. It is like they all want to talk. They all want to chat. They are all running around in my head. So kind of, there were times when I used to get up and kind of write the story, write those scenes and go back to sleep. I've stopped doing that. It's too tiring. I stopped doing that, and I kind of listen to them and all that. So what remains with me the next day, I put it on paper. So I have this particular story which I'm writing now. This is part of a series. Series means the characters are not connected there. It is written the stars. This follows star signs. We have 12 star signs. Combination of 2 signs in every book. I've already published 3 books, and that's called Scorpio Superstar, Leo's Desire, and Taurus Temptation. These 3 star signs are from the heroes. Now I want to give the heroine's perspective. Virgo is the woman's story. Virgo crush. And he's a Capricorn, but the story will be from her viewpoint. That's what I'm writing now. So they are not a joint series. And so these series, I don't have to write immediately following. I've been writing it for the past 3 years, I think.
Okay.
I brought out only 3 books. Now this is the 4th book. But there are some series where the characters are interconnected. Trilogies of surrounding siblings. So I try to write in a span of 6 months, one behind the other. I might probably intersect it with something else. I don't know. I think I'm rambling. You ask me something and I'm just
No, that's fine. Please carry on. The whole purpose is to hear you talk and what you're doing. So I love to hear about your books. Carry on. Yes.
Yeah. So I write like those. And now I recently have got into this historical romance thing. I love history, and it's been fascinating. I thought Chandelian, if you're from the South, you must have heard of Chandelian, the author, Tamil author. He has written some 50 or 60 books, and the kind of research he has done and the bibliography at the back of the book, it's incredible. And of course, Kalki's Ponniyin Selvan, which I have heard a lot of. I have not read that. And but I thought, we don't have that kind of historical stories written Indian authors in English. What we get from authors are more leaning towards mythological fiction and that all that. So I feel I want to read those kind of books. So that's why I want to write them. So I have written 2 books. Like I brought one out in 2020, Passionate Princess. The next one in The Rebel Princess in 2021. The Passion Princess I have set in an imaginary kingdom in Western India. This Rebel Princess is in Chora's time, during Rajendra's times.
Okay.
Of course, Rajendra and his wife, they just appear in 1 or 2 scenes, but the scenes are imaginary. But at that time, I'm trying to make it as authentic as possible. And so people are loving it. I'm very happy. So I thought at least one historical romance every year is my plan. Okay. And now I want to write paranormal romance. No horror, just paranormal.
Okay.
Another dream, which I'm hoping to realize this year.
Yeah, so many subgenres even within the main genre, right? And there's so many themes, as you said. So I think all of that sounds so interesting. And then, as you said, the readers love it. And you've generally published on Amazon, it's right? All of these books on Kindle?
They're all on Kindle. They're available on Kindle Unlimited, which is as good as free. And I have one book published with one paperback published with Fingerprint. And then Westland, when they became Amazon, an arm of Amazon, they had published 3 of my books.
Okay.
And of course, you probably must have heard Westland is shutting down, so that writes back to me. I'm good with this because recently Notion Press has reached out to self-published authors who are doing well.
Yeah.
And, so I'm publishing my paperbacks through them. I'm very, very happy. My 7 books have come out already. And one more I should be coming out in another week or 10 days. And I'm planning to publish all my books through them. That's what I'm thinking. It's working out well.
Okay.
I have to do promotion. They're not doing the promotion, but they are offering all the facilities.
Right. And also, that's what I saw, that it's a lot of them are being in the top 100. So, this is to be so have so many titles in the top 100 so consistently. I think that's really an achievement. So,
Thank
what
you.
is the secret of this? Your success, I guess.
You had mentioned, actually, I thought that was a good thing. You said, what is the secret of being consistent? I wanted to tell you the secret is being consistent.
There you go.
Okay. Like, it's basically, jo dikta hai, wo bikta hai. That's what they say. People see, they buy. Never allow anybody to forget you. And how can you do that? Not by saying hello. It also is required that you have to have more books, especially to the avid fans who are like, just waiting for your book to release, and kind of within 1 week, they've already finished the book and they're giving you a line of review and all that, Those are the kind of fans who are really, really very encouraging. And of course, there are those who take a little time and all that. But thing is, everybody's happy when they know, okay, this author has come out with one more book. Generally, what used to happen before, traditionally published, the author probably brings out a book once in 2 years or 3 years, and probably maybe about 7 or 8 titles in their lifetime. But I have noticed a lot of Western authors, like a Janet Daly or a Nora Roberts and a Daniel Sneal and all that, they have like 150, 200, 250 books.
Right.
They're writing all the time, and their content is not bad at all. It's very good.
Yeah.
I love reading them, and Georgette Hare is my hot favorite when it comes.
Yes, I like Georgette Hare as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her sense of humor is like amazing. I crack up. I sometimes read late in the middle of the night, and I start laughing. The others are watching TV and they're wondering what's wrong with me. But now they understood. That's how I am. So, I feel there are so many stories which want to be told. Like this year, I want to publish 9 books is what I'm thinking. You probably must have come across my 60 at 60 challenge.
Yes.
And my 60th birthday got over actually last year. 30th. But before I complete 61, I want to finish this 60 at 60. That's what I have only 3 more books to go.
Okay.
Like, the 58
sure
is
you do it. Yes.
2 more. I'm fingers crossed.
Yes.
And so with this year, Jen, I have kind of planned 9 books, and I kind of at least for 1, 2, 3, 4, at least for 6 of the books I have the main characters in place. So when they chase me, what I do is, if I kind of get a glimpse of the scene, I try to just put a line of it. Better to do it instead of forgetting. 8 months later, I might not remember it.
That's right.
Right. If they say, have something to say. If they don't say anything, then well and good. So that's how it is. So let me see. I don't know if I missed your question.
No, you answered that. And I love that hashtag.
So being consistent.
Yes.
Being consistent. That's what you asked. Yes. So the thing is, what? So people are out there waiting to look at your books, then they don't forget you. Is one thing. Another is, I'm very prolific on social media, unlike a lot of traditional authors. Because that is the only way I can market myself.
Right.
I promote a lot on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter very regularly, and that helps.
Yes. No, I think a lot to learn from you, definitely. And as I was saying, I love that 60 at 60. I think that's going to be the title of this episode. Yeah. So,
thank you.
So you've done a lot of self-publishing, and of course, in between you have forayed with the traditional publishers as well. A lot of debut authors, they always dream of being published by the big 5 and all of those things. But I think you can be amazingly successful with self-publishing as well. So I wanted to ask you, because you have so much of experience with self-publishing, you've talked a little bit about it, but can you tell us more about your experience with self-publishing, and I think your decision that you want to continue with that, and I guess that's worked out better for you. So, yeah.
Self-publishing, what happens is, you're basically on your own. Understand that. So any kind of marketing, anything is done, either you have to do it or you have to hire somebody to do it. You don't have backing of a big company. This is point 1. Point 2, what happens is, like, I was one of the forerunners of self-publishing. It was a point where, in Western countries, it had picked up. That's when a friend of mine from the US, she was the one who suggested, why don't you publish with Amazon? Because I was writing my stories on my blog.
Okay.
Because I wanted at least some people to read it instead of just keeping it in my computer. Yeah. Told me, Sundari, you're writing so well, why you want to waste it here? I said, it sounds very complicated. How will I do it online and all that? Because I was 53 at that point. That's when I self-published my book. She said, why didn't you check it out? I thought, why not? Within 2 weeks, I was a published author.
Yeah.
And I just had to have a cover made, and I had to get my book proofread and all that.
Yeah.
And the book was out there. I was quite happy and thought it was very successful, and successful in the sense that people were reading. Like, see, it doesn't mean like people are just waiting for you to publish your book. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to get yourself known out there.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work. And either you do the marketing yourself or you get somebody to do it. So far, I'm managing well. I have not the same, but at that more point in time when I self-published, I was lucky enough, there was this book club, which kind of the members are around, but the club itself is not very active. Like we together, we kind of encourage authors and all that. I think I probably had the best deal of the lot because I was writing more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And so, word of mouth. And like if I'll tell in Mumbai, there is this place called Tana. I have this friend who's also part of the book club. She's an ex-colleague. Anybody in Tana, if I mention my name, oh yeah, Nilima has spoken about you. We know about your books. She speaks so much. Like
That's nice.
Loves my writing, and she doesn't have any expectations or anything. She always keeps talking about my books. So there are friends who have been very helpful, and it spread word of mouth, I should say.
Yeah.
That's helped a lot. And the advantage of self-publishing, I will say, is like, you get a very big cut of the royalty.
Yes.
You get 70% if you are published exclusively with Amazon. And I had another advantage is like because I was one of the forerunners and I was successful, Amazon picked me up and made me their brand ambassador. And they made me a judge for the contest, which for a couple of years, which Amazon has this self-publishing authors contest.
Yes.
Went to publish. So the first 2 years I was a judge, and incredibly they put me on Jaipur Lit Fest, which many trad published authors don't reach.
Yeah.
So I think being at the right place at the right, we always are actually at the right place at the right time. My right time was then, and now. So all those things helped, and for me it was incredible. Like I was, I sounded very brief, because there was a sea of people in front of me. There were about 4,000 to 5,000 people.
Yeah.
We were 5 authors on the thing, and there was a panelist who was an editor of Westlit, and it was an incredible experience. And so this Kindle Unlimited is an extra thing you receive when you are self-published. Are you self-published on Amazon?
Yes, I have. My first book was on Amazon, but it's a children's illustrated book. But yes.
Okay. So the Kindle Unlimited is you get paid by the number of pages read. Like somebody reads your book, and even if they read 10 pages and they are not interested, they give the book back. You get paid for 10 pages. That actually is a very good way of listening, because what happens is I'm not spending anything extra. My book is out there. I have put it there because it's exclusive on Amazon. But what Amazon does, it presents it across specific links, reaching out to more authors. It becomes part of newsletters and all that. Then that way, Amazon pushes your book.
Yeah.
So it was just a combination of different things. I'm very happy with self-publishing, because I realized also, while 2 publishing houses published me, I was in talks with another 4 or 5 at least. Each time, we never saw eye to eye. I think I had kind of very independent by then. And I prefer to have an absolute control over the content of my book.
Right.
They wanted me to add chapters, add character, delete characters, and they wanted me to do this. I said, the book is already doing very well. 4 years it's been published and it's doing very well. And they want me to add 20,000 more words to it. I said, forget it. The story is set. I have gone 10 more stories after that. I'm not going to come back to this again. So I didn't see eye to eye with that. And I'm very happy this way. And now with Notion Press also, what happened? The editing, proofing, everything is my responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
My responsibility. I worked with a couple of editors. I'm not happy with it. anybody asking me to change my content.
Right.
Proofing at the end of it, I don't trust anybody, even when you're dealing with publishing houses. I'm not saying anybody is good or bad. At the end of it, it's my baby. I want to bring it.
Right.
So I feel I know my story best, and I want to ensure that my my stories are without any errors. The final responsibility lies with me. So, and I have beta readers. Beta readers who tell you that your content doesn't flow correctly.
Okay.
Mistake, like you have introduced somebody who you're saying that person is 32 years, and at some point you say that person is 28.
Yeah.
Mistakes. You start telling the story in Mumbai, and without them traveling, suddenly you're starting writing about Delhi. It's kind of errors. That's what the beta readers, or if some very major portion of the story is missing, or some character has been introduced, but they are not having anything else to do in the book. Either I should kind of make the character full-fledged, or I should remove the character from the book. Yeah. So that is the kind of feedback I get from beta readers. So I have 2 beta readers who do this for me, and I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So one important thing I want to mention with self-publishing is, see, as self-publishing is, because you're on your own, it's your responsibility. Yeah. Why people used to think very badly of self-published books, and why even today some people think badly, is when you feel, any damn content works. Yeah. Very shoddy content. According to me, I'm not saying your story is your story, but the language has to be perfect. Whether you're writing in English, whether you're writing in Tamil or Hindi or Malayalam or whatever. Because Amazon does have 4 other Indian languages you can publish your book in. Your language has to be correct, whichever language it is. Yeah. And any kind of slang you can use within quotes. These are small nitty-gritties which you have to follow. And they say, okay, this first book I published, second book I will make corrections. It doesn't work like that. A person has read that kind of presentation. They will think 10 times before they come to you. How do you can't force somebody's hand to come and pick your second book, right? That responsibility is there. That's a very, very big responsibility. And that is what makes or breaks you as an author.
So maintain your own high standards, maintain quality, and
it's very important. Very important.
The same rigor as you would, if it was a regular publisher as well. Yeah. So I think you answered my question about, editing, because I was going to ask you about that. Okay. But just to, so you do use professional editors, right, for your books?
Not editors, beta. Yeah. I use beta reader, and proofreading I do.
Okay, you do that yourself. All right. And of course, the other aspect is getting covers done. So how do you get your covers done?
I have a designer who's worked with me right from the beginning. Like the first books, I was searching, and I had published with other cover and all that. I was not happy. Luckily, this young lady now, she's probably in the late 20s now. She's been working with me from 2014.
Okay.
And she comes up with fabulous covers. Earlier I used to give her my whole story, and she used to come up with the cover. Then I started giving her one chapter about the hero and heroine. Then I realized I just give her a character. She has a full-time job and all that. So I give her this a characteristic of my hero, heroine, and a kind of, if he has a beard or she has curly hair or straight hair, those kind of, and then she comes up like, I have this book called Tinder Loving Care. It's okay if I show my book?
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you to show.
Yeah. Yes. See this cover, this pink Tinder app is this color. So we come with this color. And you see the mugs of coffee and all that, they both are restaurateurs.
Right.
So we brought, so we both kind of see this is a historical thing. Rebel. So she gives a dance performance. He's a prince. So she came up with this kind of a cover. And she asked me, in background we have Brigadeshwara temple.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm extremely happy with her.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I think cover is very important, because when you open a website like Amazon, there is a sea. Like you search for books, or you search for Kindle books. It's like watching an ocean, right? There are so many. How do you catch?
Yeah.
See, once you are established, people look for Sundari Venkatraman maybe. Once they want to read romances, they might look for romances. But in all that, how do they zero in on your book? To have a attractive cover. That's very, very important.
So do you do have print books as well? Is it?
Yeah, with Notion Press, as I
Oh,
mentioned.
with Notion Press. Okay.
Self-published. I have self-published 7 books so far.
Hmm.
Doing it, and it's available. I'm very happy it is available all over the world. It's on Barnes and Nobles, Flipkart, everywhere.
Yes.
They have done a very good job of it.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask about printing and.
And
because I think because of
see,
yeah.
I have a brand. If you notice this here,
Can you?
it's called the Flaming Sun, and
Okay.
I have made it a point that it's branded in my the thing.
Okay.
Can you see this?
Okay. I can see. Yeah.
This Flaming Sun. That's my brand. So I have it cover, and
you have a logo.
it's mine, and they are ready to do that, and they have done it. I'm very happy with their thing.
Yes. Yeah. So that's fantastic because that's been the challenge about printing globally. Otherwise it's only printing over here. Yeah. So you talked, a little bit about that you're on social media and you need to. So what other marketing strategies do you use, or what specific marketing strategies you use even on social media? Because I think even those who get printed traditionally, hybrid, whatever it is, if you're a debut author or you're still establishing yourself, a lot of the marketing is still left to the author these days. And there's just so many writing, which is fantastic. But then one does need to market as well. So do you have?
Yeah, see, even if you have a publishing house backing you, the readers at the end, they want to connect with the author directly, especially because it's so easy to do it.
Right.
I create posters, I put up posts, then I kind of I put up personal posts also, because what it can't always be about books.
Yeah.
Now recently I've started working a lot on Instagram and all that, and it's what we should understand is basically a marketing exercise. You can't say that it immediately converts to sales.
Yeah.
Telling people you are there, your books are there, they will choose to buy when they. It's a hit and miss kind of a marketing is what I will say. But then everybody is out there, and whether they like the post or not, when you put the right hashtags, that many people get to see your post. Sometime it will convert. It has happened. It has to, and it's like making sure that they don't forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just stay in their mind and building your brand, building your presence. Okay.
Yeah. And I have a brand store on Amazon. And this is a paid service in India, Amazon India. And you have a brand, the brand store itself, you don't pay, but you pay for marketing. And they set up ads for you and all that. They have a team which helps you set up. You just have to put the information. They put up small videos, which are very less than 2 minutes. And those I've been doing this for almost probably 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
It's reached a point where my sales is equal to the amount of money I'm spending.
That's great.
I'm hoping it'll
go further.
Go further. As I told you, these marketing things you have to keep doing. And I have tried the Facebook ads. I don't know, maybe I didn't have the patience. I have done it about half a dozen times. I couldn't see much conversion.
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't. One more fiasco I did is I created a lot of videos on YouTube, and I used to publish one every Friday and all that, and promoting those and all that. I think I put about 20 videos, and it started with about 20 or 30 views, and then it dwindled to 7 or 8 views. I thought just forget it, maybe sometime. It was a lot of work. And it was not resulting in much, so I kind of lost interest. I have not removed the videos, they are there. Let's see. And this kind of interview opportunity, whoever asks me, whether they have 20 followers or whether they have 2 million followers, it doesn't make a difference to me. I agree to most of the interviews. I don't, because we don't know, like somebody's that respect and they call you, I go.
Yeah. No,
So,
I think yes. I think that's helpful because Yeah, for me, I've started this channel, and for some reason, this channel is doing well, and it's getting the views and all of that. But like
Oh,
on,
very nice.
yeah, but on Twitter, it doesn't work for me. That no, so I think everybody gets like one. I believe you get two social media strategy, programs well, and there's some, some theories around that. But yes, whatever works. But my book is not. I've published one book, but my next one is due this year. So let's see how that does. Yeah. So yeah, these were all the questions that I had, and so and I generally do have a small rapid fire segment as well. So I think coming to those questions. So you have so many books, but personal, do you have a personal favorite? Your own favorite book?
In my books,
Yes.
I love all my books. Let me
I know.
I my first book, The Malhotra Bride. This is always close because it made me the writer. This is published
Right.
by Fingerprint. The paperback is published by Fingerprint. Ebook is mine, and then there is the Madras Affair. I don't have a back. I used to have one whereby with a trad publisher, but I have withdrawn the rights. It's there available as an ebook. It's very close to my heart because I wrote it set in Madras.
Right.
I grew up in Madras. Today it is called Chennai, but
Chennai,
and I moved to Bombay. That time it was still Madras. So that is a hot favorite of mine. Then there is the Marriage Predicament. That set that is the first contemporary royal romance I wrote. The present day royals living in India, in such a family, and I did a lot of research for it. I also I may had these trips to Udaipur and Jaipur that helped a lot, seeing the palaces and all that. So that book is the first of this, the Thakur Royals trilogy. Okay. That is a favorite. And Maharaja International. That is the third book in the trilogy called The Bansal Legacy. That is in 5-star hotels in 3 different parts of India. The first book is in Mumbai, the second is in Ooty, and Maharaja International is set in Udaipur. So these are my favorites, but I love all my books. Yeah. The Rebel Princess is another absolute favorite. I feel I've really achieved something in writing historical romance. I would say Bahubali was the inspiration for me finally to really get down to write. Yeah, that's amazing. Yes. And which of your heroes would you like to meet? I wish I could meet all of them. All of them. But the Madras Affair hero, Gautam Sinclair. I told you I grew up a lot on these Western moons and all that. Western books. I used to be fascinated, how people will look with blue eyes. And but it was not easy for me to write about a foreigner as a hero. Yeah. So the hero of the Madras Affair, he is called Gautam Sinclair. Like he has an Indian mother and an American father. And he has blue eyes, but otherwise so I had to bring the blue eyes. Yes. So he's somebody I would love to meet. Okay. Yeah, that would be interesting to see if how blue his eyes are. Yeah. And of your heroines, and I think I can guess now by the time since we've talked for a little bit, but which of your heroines is the closest to you feel? Heroines. Sangeeta. Again, she's also from the Madras Affair. Okay. She's kind of has been always controlled by her family. Despite that, how she remains strong, true to values, and what do you say? They kind of tried to bash out all her courage out of her, but she stands strong. I really love that character. Sounds like a strong personality. Yes. Okay, we've talked a lot about your writing. So do you have a hobby which is not to do with books and writing? Today, I would say I do coloring, mandala coloring. Oh, okay. I love doing that. I'm crazy about watching movies. Okay. Yeah, I watch I wouldn't say I watch all movies, but I love to watch movies. And worst case scenario, if I don't have the patience to sit at one go. I keep watching, 45 minutes or half an hour every day when I'm having my dinner. I watch over 4 or 5 days and finish the movie.
Okay.
Usually I watch series, but recently I really enjoyed watching Emily in Paris.
Mm.
Yeah, so I watched that.
I think a lot of your books also can become, series or get on the AV medium. So hope to see that soon.
आप आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so we've talked a lot about your books, but is there a recently published book of yours that you want to share with the readers and ask them to, buy it? Is there something that you want to share?
I didn't understand. I'm sorry.
A recently published book of yours, like what's your most recent? Yeah.
Recently published book. My ebook is, my God, I'm getting a little confused now.
So many.
Yeah, I see my paperback, what is recently published, it's called The Floundering Author.
Okay.
And my recently published ebook is called For Better or For Worse.
Okay.
Like, that is book number 57.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned you do have 9 books to plan this year. So are there any upcoming releases that you want to talk about?
See, book number 1, still, we are already mid-February. I've still not published my first book. That's going to be called Virgo's Crush. Like
Okay.
I coined this word crush because the hero is called Krish, K-R-I-S-H.
Okay.
He is a Virgo woman's crush, C-R-U-S-H. So I made this K-R-U-S-H.
Yeah, okay.
The title. That is, as I mentioned to you, book number 4 of Written in the Stars. I have planned 2 novellas. They'll be about 40 to 45,000. These are characters which I've already introduced before to my readers. So it'll be their stories. And I want to write one historical. This is going to be part of the Prince series. It will be the first book in the Prince series. I'm with the Rogue Prince.
Okay.
And I want to write a paranormal. I have not titled it, although I have a whole theme in place.
Okay.
And I have introduced a family called Kannas.
Okay.
In an earlier book, which is called Sean Finds a Bride. I have the paper for it. So, for in Sean Finds a Bride, now I have introduced this character, a family of, this is the book, it's in paperback.
Okay.
I have introduced one family of Kannas. There are 7 siblings there. So I'm planning a series around them. And I kind of had a poll, they're going to be called Kiladi Kannas or Kick-Ass Kannas. So Kick-Ass won the poll.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's going to be called the Kick-Ass Kannas series. There'll be 7 books. I'm hoping to publish at least 2 books there by the end of this year.
Yeah.
All fingers crossed. All ideas in place. Story has to flow, and I'm also, hoping to increase the word count for my books, because now I want them all in paperback form. No? I can't write novellas of 20 and 25,000 words. It doesn't work. So that's also the reason why I'm going for longer books.
Okay. Okay.
Historical novels, of course, they have to be really long. Like The Princess is almost 90,000 words.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to build atmosphere, and there's so much more to, I think, describe over there. Yeah.
Exactly. You need to give that much. There is so much matter to tell. And, you can't when you're writing contemporary, you can leave a lot to the reader's imagination.
Yes.
Whereas historical, people would like to see what's happening there. For that, I have to see it. That's why one book I'm writing in a year, it's difficult otherwise to visualize and write the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah, well, it was wonderful talking to you, Sundari, and learning all about your writing. All the best with 60 at 60, and we'll be there for you when you reach that milestone. I hope a lot of people who are watching this channel, read more of your books, and if they haven't yet started, it looks like a lot of interesting books, over here. So I hope they start reading your books. And thank you so much for coming on my channel.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. I had a nice time answering your questions. Looking forward to the video. Yes. Wish you all the best in the writing journey.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes.
And thank you, Sarana, for doing the recording.